weak dollar is more dangerous than it appears.
So far, serious currency turmoil hasn't been a part of the subprime-induced credit crunch. Nevertheless, the monetary system could be much more fragile than it appears. In fact, the way Washington has handled the U.S. dollar these past several years could be part of a future problem. President B.U.S.H. has seen a steadily weakening dollar as an answer to its ever-widening current account deficit. Yes, war nowadays is very costly. After all, the dollar has depreciated about 25% against a basket of currencies since 2002 without a peep from Washington. Indeed, the B.U.S.H., which is a four-letter word, administration has been relying entirely on a depreciating dollar to increase exports and restrain imports. It has done very little to rein in federal spending and tax cuts in order to constrain consumption. It has not encouraged domestic savings in order to reduce the need for massive inflows of foreign funds. It has devoted hardly any attention to enhancing American competitiveness by addressing such problems as soaring healthcare burdens on industry. It would be one thing if this lopsided policy were working, but it's not. The current account has continued to increase from its record-breaking $850 billion last year. One of Washington's fundamental assumptions about a declining dollar is dead wrong. The reason the nation has become hooked on imports, addicted to cheap goods. Thus, a weak dollar leads not to less imports, but to higher prices and inflation. In addition, the dollar cannot sink far enough to do what the president needs without creating a panic. For example, while a softer greenback has benefited exporters, almost no conceivable dollar depreciation would be enough to significantly narrow the trade gap, simply because the value of imports is twice that of exports. So, the administration's weak dollar policy is setting a snare, a trap. Most immediately, it complicates the Federal Reserve's deliberations on whether to lower interest rates in response to the credit crunch. The reason? Lower rates can make the dollar unattractive enough to cause a dangerously precipitous decline. Because the United States needs to borrow more than $2 billion each day from abroad to finance its imports and service its $3 trillion dollar foreign debt. A dollar that plummets too fast would necessitate a rise in U.S. interest rates to attract foreign funds. We could have the worst of all worlds: high inflation, high interest rates, and a recession or depression. Finally, a weakening dollar could lead to more acquisitions by the cash-rich countries that arouse a political backlash in America that could ignite more protectionist pressures and send Wall Street reeling. A currency crisis could be highly damaging to global economic growth because it would affect trade, investment, and interest rates more immediately than the credit squeeze. But with approximately 18 months left, the administration is unlikely to reverse course and deal both with the weak domestic underpinnings of the currency and the important international negotiations that are needed to reach a global currency accord. The President will be handing his successors a huge problem unless he is forced to act, which is unlikely, because it blows up in his face before then, period.